Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Mindset Podcast, brought to you by the Opportunities for Youth in Africa, or OYA program. OYA is a joint initiative of the UN Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. Featuring interviews with inspiring young entrepreneurs from across the African continent, this podcast is about seizing opportunities, overcoming and learning from setbacks, and succeeding in a variety of settings to fulfill your business ambitions. And now, over to our host.
Thanks a lot for joining us on this episode of the Entrepreneurship Mindset Chapter 2, focusing on developing your business, which is jointly brought to you by Opportunities for Youth in Africa, OYA, a program for the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. What we hope and we wish is that such episodes or such conversations can help empower you as a youth in business, whatever sector you might be in. We hope that we can learn from the entrepreneurs we'll be hosting, and we can, pick a leaf or two to be able to grow our businesses. Now, on this particular episode, I am so privileged to be joined by Diego Twahirwa, who I've actually known for the past 7 years, covered partly his business since he first got his first hectare of land. He is an agropreneur. He is into the chili business. Right now, his business is valued at $500 million US. Diego, I hope I am right on that. Just correct me if I'm exaggerating. I have known you since your business made your first $1 million a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. But I've also covered you when you said to me you had 1 hectare of land, which is quite interesting. 6-7 years down the road, I see you signing deals of $500 million US, quite a lot of money. And I think this is a story of a lot of things we would like to learn from you. Thanks, first of all, for joining us, Diego. I know you're joining us from Kigali. I hope Rwanda is great.
Rwanda is doing well, and thank you so much for inviting us to share our experience with fellow youth. And
I am so privileged to be speaking to a millionaire, trust me.
we count on so many supporters, especially you supported me when I started the business, and really appreciate it.
Yeah, you make this really seem so easy, seamless, and profitable. I mean, looking at Gashora, having really known you from the beginning and where you've come from and what you have built now, just walk us through about how you've been able to build such an empire.
When we started Gashora, we created Gashora in 2015, and we just want to make it more professional, because before that we were also doing farming, and but not in professional way, not having the market ready, not having the contract. And that was kind of gambling. But by end of 2015 is when we decided to say that let's make it professional. We created the company, and we looked for buyers of our produce before producing. And but we were lucky to find a client who was exporting the chili to UK. He gave us a contract. We supplied for him for a period of 6 months. And then by also getting exposure from different media, from different people, we got to know different NGOs who are working in Rwanda, and also the government trying to support us to help attend some international exhibition. So by attending this international exhibition is where we got exposed, and you got to know the potential for spices, especially the chili. And by 2016, we attended the International Spice Conference took place in India. We met different players, such as buyers, suppliers of the oil inputs. We got to know how chili can make a lot of money. So we came back in Rwanda. We started to change the model, where we start now to expand our farm and also do contract farming to other people to supply us. So that's how we started. And by 2017, we could see how we are losing a lot by supplying only the raw material. That was fresh chili and dry chili. We came up with the idea of making the chili oil. We used to transform this chili oil from the chili, which are considered as second grade. And we made our first shipment of processed chili in Geneva in 2017. And we got very positive feedback, and we continue to expand our products, value products. We also went to start to make the chili sauce, chili paste. By 2018, we attended an exhibition in China. It was the first China Import Expo, took place in Shanghai. So we got to meet a good client, or he sent us a contract of $2 million USD to supply him the chili oil. When we back to Rwanda, also Rwanda was signing an MOU with Alibaba Group to supply the chili paste. We also, the government gave us the opportunity also to send our samples and compete with other local chili producer. So also we got a chance to have to be one of the implementers of the MOU between the government of Rwanda through RDB and Alibaba Group to supply the chili paste. That's in 2019 where we started to export the chili paste to China, and we had a contract with the chili oil. At the same time, we were also still exporting the dry chili to China, to India, and fresh chili to Europe. So by 2019 again, is when we went back to China and Expo. We met a client who was importing the chili from India, and the same variety we're exporting to India. So we negotiated to get a good deal, better price than what we used to get from India. So he gave us a contract of supplying him the chili value of 500 million USD in 5 years.
You know, Diego, when you talk about the amount of conferences you've been able to attend, or, deals you've secured, you make it seem so easy. Imagine I'm a banana grower somewhere in Africa. I mean, it feels like you had so much support to start the business in the first place.
I think any business you have to do any sacrifice. For me, I just had to leave my white-collar job where I was working before, leave the Kigali city, going to sit in a small village of eastern province of Rwanda, Gashora. So, and we don't have much capital. I just started with only around $300. That's what I had just set from my former job I had. And we start very small, less even than 1 hectare. We grow different varieties for fresh producers like avocado, tomatoes, watermelons, sending them to local markets. And we did this for 3 years, and we could always find some challenges. The first challenge was even the market fluctuation for the local markets. Then when we started to supply other exporters, we met different challenges like getting access of the good inputs like good seeds, certified seeds. That time buyers were not paying on time. There was different challenges, but when you persist and we see any challenge you are facing, how to overcome this. For sure, different people played a role, like the media, the government, of course. But of course, they couldn't know me if I'm not staying in what I was doing. So, of course, our government supports youth much, but is that also I've done something and they could at least support the initiative.
I mean, when you talk about $300, so the story could be from $300 in how many years now, the business?
Yeah, we are still 7 years, but for us, we started in 2013. That's more 7 years, but the company started in 2015. So the 3 years was since 2013. $300 was since 2013.
So $300 in 7 years, $500 million. Trust me, that's a lot of money. You'll get everyone jump into, chili growing. Nevertheless, how would you go about sourcing the right team, the right people to work with? Is this something that you just take us through, especially putting together people to work with? I understand you don't work alone.
Yeah, for me as an entrepreneur who did a business and he started agriculture, so I'm into an operation guy, and I'm good to train other people who want to join agriculture, especially the agronomists. I contribute to have kind of like regular training to train these guys. And for the other team, like people in finance, we know that we are not good in the finance, but we try to source the expert on that. And Of course, our team is more comprised by the young people. We try to share with them our vision, how to be like to work like as they're working for themselves. And we also always motivate them and work with them every time, give them the chance, expose them. And because we have just to make them love the company, feel and also we always share with them like the vision. Because I remember when we start business, we used to say like when you're doing business plan, like want to be the first exporter of the spice in the country. Now we just show them now it's easy now, we can be now on the continent, on the region. Because right now we are the only one having this market in China from Africa. So when we share them our vision and we see that we are getting there progressively reaching to our target, it also motivates them and also be encouraged to work hard so that at least we can be always competent and compete with anyone in this market.
But what is that one thing you have lived with or you have lived by that you have followed since you started in 2013 that you can say until now it has helped you develop Gashora Farms to where it is now?
Yeah, first of all, when I was at the university, my dream was just to work for myself. I was planning to do something on my own. And when you started, you see how many people are depending on you, how you see what the trust the country has on you, when you see how you motivate the other youth. So you feel like you have something to push. And also when like you go to the farm, you find like more than 1,600 family working for the farm. And you see like it's something to motivate. And again, when you visit these other African countries and you see how to have big lands which are not utilized, and we find like the climate, the weather we have in Africa, it can make us compete with everyone in this world, because then it makes me like we have everything to be successful, and for us always add that also we have a good leadership which always support the youth. Sometimes other youth from Africa don't get this opportunity, but for us, it's also something which it always motivate us.
So in other words, for you, your dream coached you. I'm going to share with our listeners. In 2015, I remember driving with you to Bugesera. It's about 1 hour from Kigali. And you showed your little house in the village. And you said you lived there 5 times, 5 days in a week in the village. And then you came to Kigali once a week. I mean, agriculture is very interesting. Of course, it's very, very crucial in the African, economy. We have so much land that we haven't utilized until now. And sometimes you find that a lot of young people, are into this business, but it's a different way of doing it. And the reason as to why I wanted to share this story, and I wish you could share it, is because you said to me at the time, you said, Maggie, I live in this village and I live in this little house. And I said, I would never live there. It's far away. And you're like, but this is the only way I get to see the business move. Tell me about that. And is it that you have to stay in that environment? Do you have to be closer to the business to be able to see it move? Is this something that a lot of entrepreneurs in the agribusiness or in agriculture really miss, and running a business in town and their businesses are back home? Just give us an idea of that entire encounter I had with you.
Yeah, I remember when we visited, I was like, that was 2015, and I had moved that place in 2013. And since 2013 to 2015, I was living there full time, just going to Kigali for the market and go back to the village. So this was 2 main little things. One is, first of all, was to have a close follow-up and supervision, because I'm an agronomist, and doing this supervision or telling my farmer what to do when I'm on the phone, first of all, I wasn't going to be sure that my input are being utilized well, or people are doing the work. Again, also is try to cut or to minimize my fixed costs. When entrepreneur and you start a business, you need to cut like all the fixed costs as much as possible. Imagine always driving from Kigali to 1 hour and a few minutes to the farm. First of all, I could waste my time. Secondly, also increase my costs instead of leave the farm. And we always tell people, some people, you can't start business when you haven't tested any system, and you just leave the farm to the employees or these people. Sometimes we don't have the capital to pay an agronomist, a professional one. But depending on these people, we call the casual laborers, the carpenters. So you need to be close to them, and until you grow, you build a system. You have a supervisor, you have an agronomist who has experience, who knows your vision. So I think that was my main purpose to be there, just to build a system and also to cut my costs.
How many people are you employing now?
Currently, we are having 35 permanent employees in administration, and we have 50 casual laborers working in the warehouse doing the sorting. And in the farm, it varies, but it's around 1,600 people doing the casual labor in the farm.
That's quite interesting. And, honestly, I am learning so much from you now. At the time when I saw that little house, I was thinking, who even lives here? I mean, leave the town to this village? Why? You can easily run it remotely. Do you feel like these are some of the mistakes a lot of entrepreneurs make, especially in agriculture?
Most of the time, when they want to join agriculture because they think like someone has made it in agriculture, but don't have passion in business and in agriculture. Because I believe when you have passion in agriculture, you enjoy being in the farm. Other people see it as a sacrifice you are making, but yourself, you're enjoying being in a farm, seeing the crop growing. You plant a watermelon seed, and then after 2 months and a half, you start to harvest. For us, all that progress is something you enjoy when you have passion in agriculture. However, if someone just went there to make money, he doesn't have that patience, and most of the time you just want to be like not being in the farm. He finds it very difficult. Yet, if you are passionate about agriculture, it's something like you enjoy being in the farm, see the grain, see the farm, look how the women are working, harvesting. It's like a kind of a good enjoyment you have when you are passionate about agribusiness.
Your hands dirty, and then in the long run, make a couple of millions, and then you can work remotely. That's a good way.
Especially breathing in the system, because for me, I believe that. For example, if you worked in a most area for a while, even if one staff is not doing his job, any person who's passing will tell, oh, someone is not doing irrigation, someone is not spraying. Then what happened? You no longer irrigate your farm because they know that you used to take care of your farm and you create a relationship on people on the ground. Yeah. So that's something else. Yeah.
Diego, I know that when you started out, you did not start in Chile. Because the first time you were growing bananas, watermelon. Now you transitioned into Chile. Was there a decision that informed that? I mean, is it something a lot of people in agriculture miss? Was it the market? Would you like to give us an idea?
Yeah. I think market always the market determine the price, and also sometimes also the market determine what crop to produce. Because for me, before I started on tomato, watermelon, went to bananas, sweet potato, but I stick to Chile because I could see that it's only the market I'm targeting. I'm targeting the global market, and I had to see where my country has a competitive advantage compared to other producers, a country producing the same crop. For me, when we are talking about the bananas, this tomato is something maybe if you are only targeting supplying the local market, then you are in food security or trying to see some other crop which people are not, farmers are not producing much. But for the global market, you have to see which crop is the country has the competitive advantage. I was giving an example how our coffee is known to be the best by in terms of quality, but they can't compete with Brazil because Brazil is known to have the many different advantage compared to Rwandan coffee. So, but for Chile, I was saying that it's a labor-intensive crop. So far, we don't have the technology to harvest the red chili and leave the green one using the machinery. It has to be hand picking. So that means like you need a large number of people to harvest, to pick, to remove the stalk, to remove the stem. This sorting is require a large number of people. So as the country, we have affordable labor, and also the climate, the weather from Rwanda allow us to grow the chili the whole year round. Also, the land is available.
I am going to catch you because I feel like you are reading somewhere, and I really want this to be so raw and with your.
No, I'm not reading.
Let's go back a little bit. You actually were growing bananas, watermelon, and other things, and then you went into chili. You know how you are breaking it down for me earlier on, that you have to look at where the opportunities are and go into that direction is where I would really like you to take us with your experience. And clearly, it seems like you have a competitive advantage. You had to see what was needed out there in the market, and that's how you decided to drop everything else and get into chili, right?
Yes.
That's the experience I would like to hear. I actually am learning. I really want to get into agriculture too.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Let me try to convince you to join agriculture.
Do I need to that is not out there?
So for me, I started growing different crops, not chili. I started with tomato, watermelon, and we could supply this to the local markets, and we could find the challenge of price fluctuation. So then we start to see, as agribusiness people, we need to start first getting the market. And by meeting different suppliers of chili, we got to know now opportunities in chili farming, because we see now the country has the competitive advantage due to that crop. The chili crop is a labor-intensive crop. We can have affordable labor because we can, if I give an example, to harvest in only 10 hectares, you need more than 200 people to harvest. So when you have this kind of, and you can't use technology because people are trying to bring the artificial intelligence, but so far we are still using hand picking. So as a country which have more labor, which are affordable, we can have, it's a very good competitive advantage. And also the way that when we see the global demand of chili, it's about 5 billion tons. And then the current supply is about 3 billion tons. That means there's still a gap. And these big countries who are the first producer, they have this challenge of weather. They can't produce chili in the winter. So, and the country, we have this kind of favorable climate, which can allow us to grow chili anytime. We have the source of water, we have rivers, lakes we can get during the dry season. We can dry in the rainy season, still harvesting and using the machinery because dryers are available. And also, even the country doesn't have that much rainy season where you can't even get time to go and harvest. Also, the policy we have to promote agriculture also it helps us, it gives us a competitive advantage because you found that other African countries don't have the logistics. You find someone, he can't be able to transport his chili or his produce from his farm to the main road because there's no feeder roads. For the country, we have this advantage that we have the feeder roads, we have the infrastructure to store our produce, and all these advantages they're them putting us to concentrate in production of the chili.
So for you, diversifying, it was an opportunity you saw to actually make money or create a business beyond just going for the local market.
Yeah, supplying the local market used to be like kind of gambling because you can't predict it. We didn't have the contract on how much you'll be selling and when we harvest. So when we wanted to make a commercial business, and the best way of doing it, you had to get the contract. And we couldn't get the contract if we don't have the right buyer and fixing the price. That's what motivates us to shift from all the other crops to focus on the chili. And for the chili also, we try to work on the whole value chain. Make sure we have the fresh chili, we have the processed, because if, for example, this issue of the COVID came, we couldn't get the Rwanda or the air freight easily. We had to process it and export to China by sea. So we tried also to mitigate all these other challenges around, and we see we can control all those challenges which can be raised. That's why we have fresh chili, we have processed, which can conserve for more than 3 years. We have dry chili can conserve for 1 year. So we try to make sure we understand all the variation regarding the chili.
So you went from actually mere farming to also making a product out of it, which is a finished product you're selling already in Rwanda. Diego, it's interesting that you mentioned COVID-19 because in these years especially there's a lot of uncertainty. Honestly, no one knows what is happening tomorrow. Your growth or story has been a story of progress. $300, couple of $1,000, couple of hundreds of thousands of dollars, now to a couple of millions of dollars. It's a $1 million company, which is awesome. By the way, you need to say yay, and all share the millions. Now, ideally, this should keep you awake to see the business, be sustainable and go to last another 10, 20 years, 30 years. What are some of those things you are doing to make sure that you can sustain Gashora Farms for the next couple of years?
I think that's a very good question, because we have to not be comfortable and always be ready. And we've seen this with the COVID-19, where all the other exporters, because in Rwanda we have a large number of exporters of fresh chili to Europe, we were buying everything the other exporters were supposed to export to Europe due to the not getting the cargo airline. They used to bring to our factory, and we were supposed to make chili paste to export to Alibaba. So that means we have to be always innovative, having innovation, and always mitigate the risk. For now, all the farms that they have the insurance, we have the cultural insurance, because anything, although I'm saying that we have good weather, have climate, but any pest may come. Like last time we had the very locust pest came and they destroyed everything from Rwanda. So even the region. So we always have to be innovative, and by being innovative, just having diversification of the product, maybe same crop, but product, fresh chili, processed chili, again, diversification of the market. When China was hit by COVID-19, end of 2019 to beginning of 2020, for us, we didn't have this issue of COVID. We were just supplying Europe or India. And when it hit here and Europe, it's when China was trying to recover. We were exporting there the chili paste. So we have to always diversify the market and the product, and also try to see what was the challenge last year. What was my challenge? Was it the poor planning? How can I improve my planning? Everything. So that's how we can keep moving and progressing.
That's for the business. For you as the entrepreneur, as the founder, what is always on your mind that keeps you really awake to sustain this business? What do you always think, like, I have to get my team together, I have to do this, just as Diego?
For me, I think I would like to be exposed. I know where I'm heading, because when we started to export to India, we knew that this Indian, they are transforming this chili, this raw material, to the color, the extracting the capsicum. The same with the Chinese. Our target is like, we have a long way to go, and that's why we have the plan. And with the plan, we think like we work toward to our plan and our vision. That's why we can't be comfortable. That's because if we have a long journey to go and we're still not there, we can't be comfortable and say like, okay, we made it. So we're still working on getting enough raw material. And then after getting enough raw material, we are planning to partner with these buyers to put the same technology, same plants here in the country. At least we can also buy from all the region countries in Africa to have this finished product. Because when we see what exporting so many containers, 1,000 containers of raw material going to Asia, it's not what we are happy for. We need to also to do this kind of extraction. We have the finished product, and we supply directly to the end users of our product.
Diego, you keep talking about partnerships and deals and all of that. Of course, a lot of people have awesome ideas, but how do you find the market for your products? And how did you find your market? You've talked about exhibitions. In Rwanda, let's say I'm in a country where there's barely an exhibition. How would you advise me to go about sourcing my market?
The first way of getting the market is not like the right exhibition in the world. Like for me, I'm considering like I'm supplying the global market. I have to know that if I'm talking the Chile market, which is the best expo, I should attend. So knowing the best expo for your product is key. Again, being live on having the website, having like the social media, because sometimes you find someone because this kind of supplying the international markets. If I can give a tangible example, sometimes Uganda was banned to export habanero chili to UK, and sometimes when a current client for the Ugandan exporter is no longer getting produce from Uganda, he's looking where else he can source. And the first thing to go just to website like Google. How is habanero in Rwanda? And if you see chili farming in Rwanda, you will see us, we are present. That means like also when a part of attending the exhibition, also being live on having good website, social media, it's also one way of getting the market. Also recommendation. For example, if for now, we are the only one in China customs around to export directly to China. So any Chinese importer is just searching company registered to export chili, they will see Gashora Farm. Another example is that if you export, for example, 2,000 boxes to wholesale in UK, they distribute the retailers to the 50, 100. You see our addresses. So also staying in the business for a while and build that reputation, it also bring more clients.
I'm actually looking at your Twitter, and you have a couple of thousands of followers. So you have to be visible online and social media. Even though you're staying at the farm, try to be online. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know how people say, entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs wake up at 5 a.m. or Napoleon slept for only 3 hours. How many hours do you sleep?
To be honest, I sleep 6 hours or 7. Depend, but sometimes also I may sleep on 3 hours. It still depends, but most of the time I also encourage people to have the schedule. They do planning, they work out, they eat healthy, and then also they work hard. Yeah, because at the end, if you not
workouts, play golf, things that you do.
Yeah.
Personal space that help you enhance your business in terms of mental health, in terms of maybe meeting partners or doing something like that.
Yeah, because for me, I believe that when we're starting the business, the most could just only focus on having the right produce, bringing the team on the ground. But again, also if we are in expansion phase, you need those to treat well yourself and also doing the network, because networking is very key. There's no way you'll be able to supply a big market if you don't have many partners. I'm selling like farmers, commercial farmers, the financial institution. There's no way you meet them if you're not networking, or if you're just only focusing on work. That's how it's very important to build the team, and you delegate. You do what you're good at, and you leave other people doing what they're good at, because that's where you get time also for yourself and also to think about the expansion of the company.
Rwanda is quite small. How much of a network can you really get from there?
For me, Rwanda, to be honest, of course, Rwanda is small, but it's not small again. And when you talk about Rwanda, it's only Rwandan. People visiting Rwanda. And again, also you have to travel. For me, I travel a lot because it's very important. If I know that there is a big event happening to Kinshasa, I just try and go. Say, okay, let me meet my friends in Kinshasa. It's like for me, if you can travel, it's also very important because it's just increasing your network. For me, right now, someone said like Rwanda is very small, but for now, we produce in Rwanda and you have outgrowers out of there in Congo, DRC. So we have outgrowers in Tanzania. So for us, we always not only seeing us like locked here in the country, and that's what our country always encourages us. They encourage everyone here to go out, try something in Central Africa. They encourage us to go do something in Congo, because we can't, or if you are competing with everyone in this global market, you can't just say like only focus on Rwanda or on your own country.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
Tell me more about your outgrowers.
Yeah, outgrowers are the good partner we have, because otherwise we wouldn't going to spend a lot buying all the land we need, or because we can't get the money to buy all this land. But we just have people, especially cooperatives. How I mentioned that this chili is labor-intensive crop. Sometimes we try to see these people, we group them into cooperatives, and we show them comparison growing the maize or the traditional crop they have been using to versus producing chili for us. We show them the benefits of growing chili, and most of the time also we guarantee the technical support and to buy from them. So that's how we become like long-term partners. For now, there are some people who start as a group, we build them as now cooperative, and we are happy to see and pack like 2 or 3 containers from just one small cooperative, which was, I remember a cooperative you visited in Eastern Province, Kayonza. Now these people are giving me like containers like every month. So that's how, that's even the best way of being sustainable on the market, is having such partners who are doing because the money you will spend if you want to grow as Maggie, the chili, is not the same which a farmer called Dansila will spend when she's on her own farm there, because they don't count, they just count on the inputs. And when you support them, the inputs, they're ready to work using their hands and So that's how for us, for the sustainability, we lay on outgrowers or these farmers.
How profitable is this chili business, Diego? Would you advise me, for example, I'm growing something else, would you advise me to enter into this business?
For me, in farming, I haven't seen any crop more profitable than chili. Chili has been always profitable, but only challenge farmers or exporters we used to face is also price fluctuation. Even in Europe, the price used to fluctuate because they were fresh. Most of the time we're dealing with fresh produce. And for example, when Netherlands, for example, is producing, they're in high season. Of course, we are going to, the price will change because for them, they're not paying so air freight like us. Or sometimes Kenya is supplying much, is competing us. But since we discovered this Asian market, and we discovered the varieties which is more recommended, because also chili has a lot of varieties. You need to know which varieties is on high demand. The variety right now we are exporting to China, we're the one introduced this in Africa from India. So, and now we got to know that now this variety, and when we import these varieties, there were 7, but now we see that only 2 of them, they performed well, they have a high demand. We focus on those 2 varieties. So now, since we know our variety, which is on high demand, we know that we have already big demand. We can say chili is more profitable crop because it's a short-term crop, and you can triple easily your investment.
So you're inviting on other competitors for you.
It's not competitors, partners.
That way. But from what you're saying, Diego, there's something I'm hearing here. It's you're growing for export.
Yes.
Not for the domestic market. Now, of course, you know me, I want to touch on that. We talk about food security. You mentioned that when you were talking about growing for the local market. Would you say the local market is not as profitable And would you advise the farmers to look beyond the local market? But again, where does that leave the Africans who don't have food?
For me, the chili crop has like a cycle of around 7 to 8 months. And I always advise my outgrowers, or we do it ourselves. When you remove the chili for 8 months, put maize, put the beans, for two purposes: for the food security to feed the population, and again it's a good practice for rotation, because there's no way you remove chili and put again the chili. Again, when people at the outgrowers, especially, they are well paid with the chili or by working our farms, they have enough money or the investment to send their kids to school, also pay the other health insurance, and that short season of 4 months also, they can grow the food for them, or the food security for them. And there's all the good agriculture practices learned from our agronomists to make them even increasing their productivity. Again, even the same farm, since we put good fertilizer, organic manure, it's easy for them also to get more produce for the food security. Because again, we can't say we are going to the. Of course, for us as Gashora, our main purpose is the international market. However, wherever we are working in, for the purpose of rotation, also for security, we have those other crop like maize and beans for just local market.
So I'm gonna do this exercise with you, and you pick one: capital, partnerships, skills. What would you start with?
Can I hear, please? Capital?
Of course, there's capital, partnership, skills, and capital. What's more important for you?
For me, it's partnership.
So even if you don't have capital, you need to have partnerships.
Yes, because if you have partnership among the partners, you can start even for exporting without even have any coin. If you have good market, the buyers, and you have outgrowers, you can hire people with the skills. They help your people to produce, and you get your margin.
So like the middleman who becomes an entrepreneur. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, two things. Grow for the local market or for export?
For export.
Reason?
Reason that our local market, for me, we are 12 million people, and people with purchasing power is they're not. I'm not saying like they're more than 3 million or 4 million. I don't know, but when you talk export, you are talking about 7 billion. So that's why we don't want to limit on ourselves.
Wow. Okay. Then next, you have signed deals from $1 million to a couple of $1 million, now $500 million. I need 3 tips on how to close big deals or sign big deals. 3 tips, and break them down for me.
3 tips. One is just to understand well your product. Because if you understand your product, you know where to pitch it, you know where to sell it, you know how to differentiate yourself from other producers with some products. Secondly, understanding your market. Because for me, I wouldn't travel to go to Singapore or Brazil to look for market for chili, where they know the first consumer Chinese. Like right now, Gashora has a market in China, India, and Pakistan. Those are the first consumer of the chili. Understanding your market, understanding your product, and then again, the last one, just networking. Because networking, you may go to the. I remember I got the 500 million contract, and I had traveled with my friend, you know him, Gerard, with the same boots in China, but I had to close my deal because I had to, I extended my ticket for 3 days after Expo ended, started to close deals with people I met in Expo, and then I convinced one guy to, that I can be able to supply him, I can stop him to import from India and import from us in Rwanda. So I believe that is a key for me.
about that $500 million deal. I have to explain to our viewers or even listeners, Sinajara is one of the biggest chili growers in East Africa. He's chili.
Yes, I respect it. He focused on the chili oil and his real farmers. Even people in all Africa, Europe, they know his brand.
Here you are closing a $500 million deal in a conference that both of you were attending. How was that? How are you even able to do it?
Yeah, I start by telling that you have to understand your products. For me, I know that if I'm going to China, I can't compete with them for the chili oil because the chili for them. I've done this before. I've seen 2018. I've attended some exhibition in China. I've seen how the market works, but I could see that the dry chili is the key. So Sinajara doesn't have the dry chili, and for me, I know that this variety is special. We've been exporting this to India. It's really key. I think I need to get market here because I know that India and they export to China. So I had to know that the product I have can get the market there. However, Sinajara came with only the chili oil. So that's why I thought, like, for me, I made sure I understand everything variation of chili. When I talk to fresher chili, we also export to Europe, Netherlands, UK, like other exporters. Dry chili, it became a specialty. Like when we start this to know how it's have more demand, we look at how the Chinese they consume it, the Indians, the Pakistanis. So that's how we got to know that knowing also your product is very important.
Okay, just putting it out there. Understand your products, understand your market, and network, and you have millions of dollars in your pockets. Yeah, well, this is really amazing. And I am so much proud to see that a business like yours actually, in just a few years, less than 10 years, you can close these a couple of billions. Because, agriculture is also a sector that a lot of people want to get into. But again, the hurdles, think of climate change, think of the fact that you have to live in the farm like you did, think of all those things. For you, what have been some of the biggest challenges you can point out? Because that way, at least when you get into the business, you know that I'm facing this. And how have you been able to overcome them?
My first biggest challenge was to get the sustainable and durable market. Because when we started, everything was smooth. The $300 turned it to $300 turned it to $1,000. Joining hands with other people, we made $6,000. Then again, we started to go back like 3,000 because the market was fluctuating a lot. And then I said, we are good producers, but we don't control the market. So having market fluctuation was a very big challenge I had. And how to overcome it, just to know that before now, put any seed in the market in the soil, I have to know who is my buyer. I have to vet on my buyer, not only just the Diego will buy from you, I have to vet on Diego, know that Diego doesn't disappoint farmers. Diego is always supporting the farmers. Diego doesn't, even if he's delaying payment, it has to be a reason I have to explain to the partners. So that is also how I try to overcome this. And now the second challenge now I had to get was now to, after getting the market, now was now to have like the poor planning. I call it poor planning because sometimes we used to, as entrepreneurs, we plan according to some promises. You go to the bank, they tell you they give you a loan of $10,000. Then you start to put your $3,000 there, and then the bank will not bring the 10. So you lose your $3,000 because of poor planning. Yet you could use properly your $3,000, make money out of that. So now I've learned that I have to plan according to what I have now, not what people have promised me to give me. Because this has also affected me a lot. Because some people say, we are bringing the investor or doing this. You try to, and all the startups, they also have these challenges. So you do poor planning according to some false promises. But and how I overcome this now is like I always plan what I have on my account. Or like I know that this is the client, he's paying regularly, or this is my partner, he's like he respects his contract, he's all this. That's how now you got to know, because all the clients also are not serious. Either in Europe or in Asia, you don't have just take any client like that and start to also produce for him or not. So like when I mention my clients in China, those clients whom the country has vetted on, like the country has send a contract in the embassy had to follow up, go to the government in China. So at least you know that this guy is not going to involve like thousands of people, millions of people in Africa growing the same crop, which sometimes the client is not serious. So it's always to be sure of what you're doing. And the other stuff is just this kind of challenges we're saying about the disease, and this one also used to be a big challenge. You found that there's a pest. It came like to remove everything in the farm, but now we just have to have a crop insurance. Any farm we have either ours or our growers, they have a agricultural insurance. Of course, we haven't used this, we haven't had any chance since we got it, but at least you know that the investment is secured. Yes.
You sound like you've lost some good money to clients, to contracts that haven't come through. Is that correct?
Talk to any exporter will tell you, there's so many scams in Europe, everywhere. They will tell you, supply, you send 10,000 pound invoice. They will pay. The next time you send, then they not pay you. So all this is another experience have to share for exporters, and I'm sure there's no exporter who didn't face this issue of having this unserious offtake out of either Europe or anywhere. So that don't just go to get you went to the exhibition, you get the client, you're excited, you come back to produce. You need to know who you're selling, what's the records. Who's this guy? Is the government knows this guy? So all this kind of, at least if the government knows, like one day I think I had the issue of one client in one country, but I remember started to intervene and I got my money back because I knew that the guy has the address. But some other people, they scam you, and even the government of home country where he's in also don't see him. That's the kind of people have to pay attention to that.
What's the biggest loss you ever made?
I think I supplied a guy £26,000, and I think 2 years ago, he didn't pay. That's the biggest.
How much was it?
£6,000. £26,000. Sorry.
A lot of money, huh? So there are risks involved too, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you have mentioned about how important it is to attend exhibitions, workshops. Obviously, these opportunities for young people program OYA is one way that we are showcasing stories like yours, hoping that someone out there who is probably even growing the smallest as pineapples, which I actually want to start growing, can be able to get into the business and understand this. How crucial are platforms like these to an entrepreneur's business? And in your perspective, have they in any way helped you or supported you? Or what would you see, what would you wish, or what support would you seek to help entrepreneurs progress?
For me, I would always ask or request to expose some young entrepreneurs who have the ideas, because when I see my journey, the media has contributed a lot, because even my government couldn't know me when I wasn't invited I started by being invited by journalists on our national television, share my story. You can't see me. Some people see our talk. Even me attending this, knowing this international conference was because of I remember there's a program called from the UN agency, ITC. They had the program project under CETA. They're the ones called that project to support trade investment for Africa, between Africa and India. So that's how we got to know that there's potential, those special varieties of this dry chili. So exposing a young person or young entrepreneur is very key, because there is a lot of out of there, the people who want the product, who don't know where to source it. And there's also producers who don't know where to sell their products. So when you expose them, it's like connecting. There are people there who have the investment, who don't know what to put it. But if you invest, you expose someone, so like, I have market, I have this kind of capital, people will go and support him or her. So I think exposing someone, it plays a lot of in someone's journey to grow his business.
Diego, I know this is not too early to ask, because for me, I already feel like you on a successful journey and we're still documenting it. It's not even a quarter of it. There was one thing you had known in 2013. What would it have been before getting into this business? If there was one thing you would have known, what would you wish it would have been?
2013, if something like, I wish I could have known this. I think I wish I could just know that there is a potential in chili business, because for me, I spent 3 years doing other stuff and also just starting to know the chili potential. By end of 2015, I've lost. I'm not saying like I lost, because also when you're having this experience, learning is also experience, but I may say like I've learned in a hard way. I wish I could have like met someone telling me about chili business, but I guess someone to take me through, like I meet someone like me who have the experience and who's willing to show me the challenges, show me what to get the inputs, try to get the market. That would be easier for me. But for us, we were doing everything on our own. We had to run like in a hard way. That you are losing your money by not getting in a stable market, but then you have to know that you have to go to find the market. But for me, all the entrepreneurs who are coming right now, always tell them, don't go to agriculture before getting the buyer. This kind of message we wish could have gotten some people to inspire and also explain to us the challenges out of that business.
I'm guessing if you had known then, you would have made close to $1 billion now. But it's not late. You can still
yeah.
Diego, this is honestly amazing. I feel like I'm inspired. You make it seem so easy. And I think this is so amazing for me to actually see this kind of growth as well for you as an entrepreneur, but also seeing that you're making a final product, that you're not just exporting chili, but there's a factory for Gashora that is actually making a finished product of chili, which I actually consume as well. So thanks for sharing your story. I have to share with our viewers too and listeners that one thing they have to know is that Diego actually employs persons with disability, and I found that really inspiring. I remember coming to your farm and you had over 10 workers on the farm, persons with a disability, and I was just thinking, this is pretty amazing. This is inclusivity, and it's beyond just a business or a company trying to make profits, but also giving back. And for me, that was something I thought that was really amazing. And I'm so glad to see this this journey and be a part of it and see where you've gone to millions of dollars. But that's quite some good money.
Yeah, to be honest, we also plan to increase more number of people with disabilities in our business, because we have when to do sorting, when you have your eyes, you can, even if you are sitting, you can do sorting.
Yeah.
The guy who you saw in the farm, he was just switching on the water pump.
Yeah.
He has to know where to touch, and he has the issue of he's a blind guy. So to be honest, depending on which disability someone has, there's a lot of potential also he can do. That's why for us, we believe that we're even going to increase more people like that. And we've also been getting blessing, because going to some exhibition, like a delegation, you get the market other people don't get. It's not like we are more smart enough, but also when you have this kind of impact and also this passion, I think also God bless us. I believe in that.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome. Diego, I am going to end this, but before I end it, I'll say if there's anything we will need, we might have to call you back to do it again. If there is anything which I don't think will happen.
Okay, so no problem.
Allow me to close this. Hello, Diego, for joining us on this particular episode on entrepreneurship. It's so much that we have learned as an entrepreneur and how you've been able to close all these businesses. Honestly, I have personally been inspired. I hope I can be able to do agriculture. And that brings us to the end of this particular episode of Entrepreneur Mindset with Diego Twahirwa, the CEO and founder of Gashora Farms, which is one of the most successful businesses in Rwanda, but also in East Africa in terms of chili. Diego, thanks a lot for joining us on this program for opportunities for youth in Africa, which is part of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. You can follow us on Twitter, follow us on all our social platforms, and keep up with all our latest episodes. Let us know what you think, and we'll be able to update you on whatever we are working on. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
This has been the OYA Entrepreneurial Mindset Podcast. Tune in to stay up to date on each new episode for more inspiring stories. Share your entrepreneurial journey with us using the hashtag #WeNeedOYA. A link to our website and social media is available in the description of the episode.